This is Ask an Expat with Marcus and Matt from An Expat's Russia, where we answer your questions about what it's like to live, work, and travel in Russia.
Hi everyone, welcome to this episode. Today we're going to answer the question, how many countries border Russia? The answer might come as a surprise to some of you actually. We get this question kind of often actually. I'm a bit surprised. Anyway, Marcus, what are the 14 countries that border Russia?
All right, so if we're going, west to east, so we'll start off with the Nordic countries. Actually, Norway goes way up, connects with Russia. On the map, it might not look like it. So then it's Finland, Estonia, Latvia as you go into the Baltics, and then with Kaliningrad you have Lithuania, Poland, then Belarus, Ukraine. Then as you move east, it's Georgia, China, Mongolia, Azerbaijan, Kazakhstan, and if you count, just within a few miles over water, then Japan and the USA with Alaska.
Right. Well, one interesting thing, depending on who you ask, there might be two other countries actually. So Georgia, there are two disputed or unrecognized territories, Abkhazia and South Ossetia, which are technically recognized by Georgia as Georgian territory. But these two disputed countries also would be two more. Russia
sovereign
actually recognizes
states
both
as,
Yeah, so Russia actually recognizes them as sovereign states, Abkhazia and South Ossetia.
Yeah, so I have, crossed into Finland from Russia, Latvia, where else? Ukraine, but not really. Oh, also Poland and Lithuania when I lived in Kaliningrad. So a lot of people don't realize that Kaliningrad is a chunk of Russia that's off mainland. Right, it's off mainland Russia. And so it's kind of funny to think that you're flying from Russia over Lithuania, Poland, Belarus to get to Russia. So,
right. I have stories crossing the border at Estonia, Finland, and Ukraine. No real interesting stories. One thing to just kind of point out, there's actually like a special border zone around some borders that you can't actually get close to. I found out this by chance. I needed to cross the border, so I wanted to go to Estonia from St. Petersburg, got on the train to go to Narva, which was the Estonian city on the border, was way more expensive, like 3, 4, 5 times more expensive than the train to Ivangorod, which is the city that's on the Russian side. I wanted to save a bit of money, got off the train at Ivangorod, and I bought my ticket to Ivangorod. Well, it's a restricted area, and I got stuck there for a number of hours. I could talk about that in another video. I think we actually did discuss this in a video about crossing the Russian border. But generally, my favorite observation is that when you're crossing the land border in Russia, maybe it's actually a bit different in Ukraine, but because I've only ever crossed by train, so you don't actually stop at the border. You stop at like the last stop before the border and then the first stop after the border. Like if you actually do the walking borders, it's really crazy how kind of run down and dilapidated some of the Russian borders are, and you kind of cross, especially into countries like Finland and Estonia, and it's like this super modern complex, to like greet visitors to the country, whereas in Russia it's just kind of like this old dilapidated building from the Soviet era. Kind of a
one thing that I would I had the same experience. One thing that I would add is most of the time the times that I crossed the border, it was actually by car, probably over a dozen times, but mostly into Finland, Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia. And there is a big difference between like the points where you cross, the checkpoints. There are two in Finland, one is less traveled, and then in Estonia we took one that was kind of out of the way, but it was actually faster because there wasn't, a long line. So it does depend on the checkpoint that you go to, and you can go online and check the cameras if you're driving by car, at least how long the line is, and you can plan ahead.
Right. So interesting. I know a lot of people some people are not surprised. They're like, Russia, biggest country on the planet, 14 countries along its borders. But some of them, I think, it come as a surprise. Most people don't think of Kaliningrad, for example, like you mentioned, as part of Russia, but it is.
Right.
So we hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you next time.